John was working in his science lab, got blasted by gamma rays. Now he's Smash Trivia John, always smashing. He's friends with Ruffalo, crushing on Maslany, and also Sydney Sweeney. John's here saying, hello my gamma friends, welcome to the show, the Gamma Analysis Podcast.
Smash.
Hello, my Gamma friends. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia. I'll be along with the big old green head in the profile picture. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and also do random other geeky films. Hope you enjoy. Smash Trivia presents the Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening if you could please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now smash right into this episode. Today's episode is a review of the 70s Incredible Hulk TV show, Season 2, Episode 10, Escape from Los Santos. And we're doing this with Keith. How you doing, Keith?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Gamma John and Gamma friends? Where the hell have I been?
All right. You seem to have been very busy these past few months. It's making so we haven't been able to do anything together, but I'm glad to finally be able to get back to this.
Me too, man. And an exciting episode at that to jump back in. I almost when you were asking like, do you want to do two or do you want to do one? I was like, one's probably the most I can do. And then I saw this one, and I was like, I wish I'd said two. Because what the fuck happens in this one? Nothing happens, man. We'll get into it.
This one, I think, is a fun episode. But I can understand that. I feel like there's not a lot that happens. I think this is the episode where I'm like, I like it because I think it's a fun story of having him help his girl get clear her name and then breaking out of jail and all that kind of stuff. I also like really liked the Hulk outs in this episode. Particularly with the second one, I love of him pulling down these power lines that feels like such a Hulk thing to do.
Yeah. It felt very cool, and it felt like a thing we'd never seen him do yet, especially on like a weird makeshift bridge that I don't know how common these canyon ladders are or whatever you'd call that, but I think
part of what really made me like that is because whereas a lot of things I feel like it's really easy to make them not weigh a lot so that you can easily film it. I feel like something like that is much harder to do to make it not weigh a lot and also make it look good.
True, and it was cleverly shot, as you said. It's something that's easy enough for him to do, but something we haven't seen before. I don't know. Maybe you'll change my mind about this episode by the end of talking about it.
My biggest problem with this episode, though, is I think that this has the most egregious example of someone not realizing that that David is the Hulk.
Yes. David Brown is literally holding this lady's hand when he changes the second time, and she has just no idea.
Yeah,
and it led to, and I think Hulk felt it too, because Hulk. I saw the Incredible Sulk come out. That was the saddest Hulk. He was just like, sad. He's like, how could I make people know it's me? He's like a part of me just wants to tell her. And then he's like petting a deer while sulking on a rock. It's just really funny.
Oh my god! He came out literally just to save her, and she still found him terrifying.
Yeah. I there was something about that, and like the scene with the DA. Where they I knew the second they went to the DA's house, I was like, he's
oh
in
yeah,
on it. He's in on it.
that's
We don't know
obvious.
why.
That was so
I don't,
obvious.
I don't know that we ever find out why anyone's doing this or doing what they're doing, but it's
Yeah, they don't really like say what this scam is they're running or whatever.
Yeah. The thing that boggled my mind was not only did the DA not ask to see or take the negatives before going into the house, he also, when he gets into the house, they go over to get some iced tea. They immediately figure out that he's in on it, and they run right in front of him while he's on the phone with the sheriff instead of sneaking the other direction. Like anything other than that window, they could have run past. It's just, come on, man. Come on, David.
Oh man, and it's almost like just walking would have been and less noticeable.
Yeah. Or like seconds that you're in front of the window, just go a little shorter. Yeah.
Oh man.
But it is very endearing to see that even after all these episodes after all this time, David can still make a ride or die relationship faster than Dom Toretto. It's just he's
with
so
another blonde
like,
woman.
Yeah, we clear your name, we'll clear my name. So we are best friends until this is solved. It's like,
it
okay,
really
but I'm gonna bail on you when you need a witness, though. Fuck that. I gotta go.
I cannot get over the fact how literally almost every episode, the female co-lead of the episode is a blonde woman. Every time. Yeah. It feels
brunettes
like
are few and far between, and they're my favorites for a reason.
Oh man.
I can attest that trying to drive stick when you're cuffed to your passenger is exactly that difficult.
I bet. Yeah, I bet that's a big problem. I think, and I also really liked the first talk out. I just because I think it was really funny him putting the jail cell door or it on it on one of the cops.
Yeah. I always liked seeing, because he's always, by the time the first one happens, at least, he's always already screaming. He's already so mad. It takes one more little cross step for it to happen, though. So they had to mace him in the eyes so that he could have his big eye reveal. And then, that was one bridge too far. Yeah, but that's a secret, Captain. He's always angry.
The main one of the cops that we see in the episode, immediately as soon as I saw him, I was like, he looks like an actor I know, and I know it's not this actor because this actor was obviously not like around in the 70s, or at least probably wasn't working in the 70s. But but the main cop really reminded me of have you ever heard of the actor David Koshner? It's a comedy actor. He's in the Anchorman movies.
Oh yeah. Dave Koechner, the champ from Anchorman,
yeah,
and Todd Packer from The Office. Yeah, he's fucking amazing.
Like, did you get at all the vibe of kind of like him with the main cop in this episode?
Yeah, are you talking about the guy that picks him up from hitchhiking?
The guy who picks him up with hitchhiking, and he has the mustache.
It felt like that kind of actor, a comedic actor too, because like there were moments where Evans was like bumbling in a way that was way funnier than the episode deserved. Like he cuffs them, he has them face away from him. He doesn't have two sets of cuffs, so they're just kind of holding one arm up in the air, and he backs up into the background, pointing his gun, and then bumps into his own squad car, and it's really funny. And it's like this could be David Koechner. Honestly, that's a great find.
It's obviously not him because like I don't think there's any chance that David Koechner was like acting in the 70s, or if
10 at the time.
Yeah, or if he was, he would have been a child actor. But yeah.
I recognize the sheriff though, the head guy.
Oh, cool.
The cops were all so funny in this, but the head guy, the bald one, he played an FBI agent in a fake FBI agent in the movie The Sting, which I've seen around 100 times because it's such a good movie. But the even he like has a moment at the end there at the road stop roadblock, and he asks that family whether or not, how am I supposed to know whether or not you're wetbacks and blah blah blah. And he lets them go. And then he walks for a bit. The camera stays on him, and he like kicks like a piece of trash in the middle of the street, like out of frustration. And it's just like, this is the longest shot I didn't need. I know I needed. These cops were entertaining. They were probably my favorite part, just watching a bunch of bumbling sheriffs and stuff and deputies.
They're definitely very fun though. And something that I think I really like about this episode is I think it is very relevant to like current times. I'm just like, we have these crooked, abusive ops, and also they are racist, since they have since they just assume that these Hispanic people are illegal just because they're Hispanic,
yeah,
which is very relevant with the what's been happening in America lately. Like I like that because of the fact that it really does portray them as the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was why I really liked with the episode. I think it is like, I can understand feeling it's a nothing burger episode, but I think it's a fun nothing burger episode.
That's true. It's certainly fast paced. There's enough going on, that's for sure, and it's the fun of the chase. I just think it's just one of those things where like, and it's probably a few things. I might be getting sick. I'm pretty tired today, and maybe that's what the issue was. I just did like a 2-hour drive before watching it, so could be just me.
Absolutely,
but I think when I see those episodes, and it's been a long time since I've watched, but when I see those episodes that have zero to do with David, he's just there and happens to be the Hulk, it feels like a show. They could have had a script written for an entirely different show and gone, well, we're not doing that series. It got canceled. So maybe we can adapt it into a Hulk. And then it feels like it's an afterthought that he's even the Hulk.
That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
It is a fun time though. I'm glad that he didn't throw any of those dogs, those canines units. I'm glad that they never caught up to the Hulk and he didn't have to pitch them down the canyon or something. That would have been sad.
I think that there's never been a car chase in a movie where I wasn't enjoying it the whole time, just because car chases are fun.
Car chases are a blast.
The one thing I wish happened in the episode, but I know that they wouldn't have been willing to do this in the 70s because they don't want to imply that that anybody could have died from anything. I think it would have been hilarious if Hulk actually caused the cops to fall in that canyon or whatever, in that ravine, and when they were climbing across the power lines.
I was surprised that they got back so quickly, but if a bridge is shaken, I move faster too. So I totally get it.
Oh, I mean,
a part of me thought that's how he was going to get rid of them, is just drop them in the water.
Like, that would have been really funny though if they had done that. I kind of wish they did, but I feel like just because they don't like showing the possibility of anybody getting or the implication of anybody possibly dying in this show, outside of the premiere episodes for some reason, but I think that would have been fun if they had been willing to do it. One thing I saw on IMDb as I was looking at this episode was this was the final episode that released before for Ted Cassidy, the narrator of the show, had passed away.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, which Ted Cassidy is also the actor who played Lurch in the Addams Family TV show.
It's the original. That's the original Lurch. Yeah. I remember you telling me that when we started doing this. It's crazy how he has such an iconic voice. When every Lurch since then has just been a personality of gers and args, and not a whole lot of. You wouldn't guess that the same thing would happen with these other actors that have played him. But that's sad. We won't. We'll hear what intro, obviously, but.
Yeah,
no new content done by him.
probably not. But yeah, trying to think what else there is about this episode I want to talk about. There's-
When you're watching it from the beginning, was there
yes.
a hope in your mind that these cops were just, or just Evans specifically, was actually being just really friendly? Like there was really no reason for,
I
other than the fact that he's on the
well,
run, so of course he's paranoid, right? He doesn't know he doesn't want to face
I
cops.
my I was assuming that they were not going to be great just because of the title being Escape from Los Santos. I was thinking this episode was going to be a completely just a prison break episode.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, so I was going into it expecting if they're cops, they're not gonna be great guys.
The corrupt kind. Yeah, fair enough. I
No,
was
which I think like if it had been time where it was like actually like completely a prison break episode, I think that might have been a more interesting episode. Because I think that could be really cool. Or like instead of just like county jail, where he's easily able to break
yeah.
out, like we have this like high stakes say where he's actually in prison and he breaks out. I think that could be cool.
Absolutely. And like if characters aren't willing or smart enough to figure out who he is or that he's turning into the Hulk, even when you're holding his damn hand as he does it, then I don't think they would figure out that it was him, even in a prison lockdown situation where there's no way to get in or out. And you're like, wait, where'd this monster come from? It must be one of us. And it's like, no, they're
It
not that smart.
really
Never mind.
is insane that she didn't realize. And if you don't realize that um David and Hulk are the same person, after or everything ended and she saw David again, wouldn't you think she'd be like, why are you shirtless?
Yeah. Yeah. He's like,
Like,
wow, when when the Hulk somehow tossed me into the bushes and grabbed your hand without you noticing any change whatsoever because you were looking to the sunrise or something. I don't know. She was just looking out. She wasn't even looking down, which shocked me. I'm like, if I'm flying off an edge, I'm looking straight down or avoiding it by looking straight up. I'm not looking out and not noticing that a person's hand's changed. But like, yeah, he's got no story there other than maybe a monster threw me into the bushes but stole my shirt in the process.
yes. Wild. Yes. Oh
He
man.
had some charm though. That Bixby charm is it's infectious. He's sitting there, fumbling with the handcuffs while trying to pour some iced tea. He's like just trying to make friends with all her friends, and they're like, "We don't know you. That's the problem." And he's like, "Well, we're about to be two dead people, so come on, help us out." Like he's just such a charmer and such an engaging star for the show that I feel like that's why they throw scripts at him that are just bonkers, and he still saves the day. He's too engaging.
I feel like really them throwing such bonkers scripts at him is really because of the fact that the show doesn't have a story at all, really. Because
Yeah,
every episode is episodic.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
I like episodic shows, but I do think there should be at least some of a through line through them. And this show does not have any of that. So within at least within at least both season 2 and season 3, and I think even season 4 of this show, there are 22 episode seasons, which that's a lot of just episodic.
Yeah.
For them to figure out stories for. And
There's a lot of
sadly, they're
story.
not willing to go into the more science fiction aspect of it.
Two shows pop into my mind when I think of ones that have kind of covered both terrains, where it's episodic or serial. And one is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where they would be at their best when doing usually the serial kind, where it's a storyline that's carrying on over at least a couple episodes of an arc, some kind of arc. But there was also some fantastic like one-offs episodes where they're singing and dancing, or they're fighting monsters that steal their voices, and everybody has to just be completely silenced. But the other show is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
That show vastly improved when it started becoming serial instead of episodic, in my opinion. Season 1, when things went sideways, I was like, fuck yeah.
Both. I like both for also with Agents of Shield. I kind of missed with the later seasons them in the episodic stuff, just because like I loved how in season 1 we were really getting to explore more of the world of the MCU. And getting to see these different artifacts and stuff like that. I thought that was cool. I think a lot of shows that are on network TV, they are mix of them, and like the Arrowverse are all of those shows where they both had a serialized story that's running through the season, but they also had almost every week, villain of the week, and and I think that mix together is the perfect mix to me, and I wish this show had that because most episodes I think of the show honestly feel kind of meaningless because it's because there's no through line there everything, even when it feels like he's having some major breakthrough, it's just gone the next episode.
Yeah, it's one step forward, two steps back or something. It's always he's got to move on to the next. Oh, that was a red herring. It didn't really end up anywhere. I remember when he had like the horse tranquilizer, or like not horse tranquilizer, but like there was a method to calm down horses. So he worked at a racetrack for a while, and then it was all about that. What was it, like a shaman? I don't know what they would have called it at the time. It was just really, that was another dated thing that would happen. But yeah, it's just he's either looking for a cure, and that's why he goes to a place, or he's just passing through and just happens to be there in the action when something happens.
Hey, this episode, he says he's on his way to Phoenix, Arizona, which but he doesn't say why, and I wouldn't be surprised if we don't ever end up seeing him in Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, the very next episode I just checked is called Wildfire, and I'm not sure what that's going to mean. That does sound like a thing that would happen in Phoenix, but I don't know. I don't know. Only one way to find out. We will get there, but
I think it's that's a big problem the show has. Is basically all the episodes. You do have that problem of them feeling like there is a point. Yeah.
And it is a week to week thing, and it's a different time that we didn't grow up in, where it's like it makes you wonder how common it was. And other shows that came out, like how many $1 Million Man?
$100
million?
$3 million,
like how, but that kind of show, and like people were probably used to that type of like, okay, there's not a lot of progression, but we're just looking to kind of escape for the night, and they're not looking for the drama, they're looking for just some fun. And so maybe it was more acceptable at the time to be like, okay, this many episodes that don't really push the story along. Like it was probably not even noticeable as much as like, oh, it's a fun thing to watch as a family, sit down, see what Bill Bixby gets up to. Like it's less intense. But nowadays it's like, oh my God, if you spend one episode not progressing the story, oh my God, people gonna flip the fuck out if they're expecting that kind of serial kind of drama.
Next episode with the wildfire episode, you said this episode you think it feels like out of nowhere, or like there's no relation to David. Next episode takes place on an oil rig.
Well, there you go.
I feel like that's even more out of nowhere.
let's go somewhere where nothing could possibly go wrong and I won't have to turn into the Hulk. Let's go to an oil rig. Smart.
Oh man. Yeah. And he has probably the most fake sounding last name for next episode. As next episode, he is David Blakeman.
Blakeman?
Yes.
What? I've never heard that name used in common tongue. That is bizarre.
I've never heard that.
David Blakeman. It just makes me think of David Blaine for some reason.
Yeah.
I've been watching this one YouTuber. Her name's I think it's Ashley Burton, but she goes Awkward Ashley, and I probably talked about her before, but she's a reaction YouTuber, and she's been working her way through Marvel stuff, but then also taking breaks to go through, like, right now she's in season 3 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and for some reason I always go back to that show, and I'm excited to see somebody else watch it for the first time. So it's fun to watch a YouTuber do that. But man, that show was so my Incredible Hulk when I was a kid. That was the thing I would tune into all the time, and whether it was a villain of the week or it was a more serial dramatic through line kind of thing, it was always a fun time. So this is definitely the type of show that's up my alley for that reason. I'm primed.
I haven't ever ended up checking out Bucky the Vampire Slayer. I need to watch that at some point.
It's a fun time. It's definitely one I'd recommend if you like a well written, like, ensemble kind of comedy thing. Like, especially you being a Scooby-Doo fan. Like, I think you'd enjoy how many references they make to them being the Scooby-Doo group, because they are just kind of like chasing after mysteries and figuring stuff out. It's battling evil.
One thing I think is interesting is this is now the second time that I'm in the 70s Hulk that he's used the Brown last name. The first time,
because I was like, that's a really common B.
Yeah, the first time was what was in the plane hijacking episode.
Oh my god, I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
it seems so long ago now.
Yeah,
kicks the guy off the plane.
Which I feel like you really shouldn't. If you're on the run, you shouldn't reuse the same name.
It's gonna come back to bite you for sure. I wonder if McGee will be onto him about that. He'll be like, "Oh, wait, you said David Brown? Oh, now I got the scent. I bet he's at that oil rig." I don't know if we're gonna see him again for quite some time. We're on episode. For me, it says episode 11. You said it was 10.
Yeah, I go by what it says on IMDb, and it says as episode 10 on IMDb.
And there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're at the halfway point. There is a part 1, part 2 I see coming up called Mystery Man Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
But I could see, I could see Jack McGee. See, Jack McGee, last we saw him was at the newspaper, right? Like at the Stop the Presses episode, I think it was.
Which that was last episode. So, yeah.
And that was pretty McGee heavy, if I remember. McGee got very close to, and then he was saved by him. So
another one that's gonna be a fun look forward to, because it's one of the only times that there's been a through line in episodes featuring episodes is the person who taught him to who meditate in the martial arts episode is going to be coming back in episode 17 of season 2, The Disciple.
The Disciple. Oh, shit. Okay, his personal Mr. Miyagi. I like that. Hell yeah. I'm excited for that.
That'll be cool.
It's always just, it's nice in general to get more of a lore, because how many other Marvel characters do we see regularly now in movies and television that had a series? Like, maybe, like, especially one this old, like, it's incredible to me that Captain America, Thor, I mean, Spider-Man had a cartoon, and he's had many different adaptations around the world, but really not like a popular series in the Western world, at least not live action. And then everybody else.
He had one live action show, but it only lasts, I think, one or two seasons. Yeah.
But the Hulk is like rare that way, and it's nice because I feel like the Hulk needs more stuff now, that are hopefully not anything like Captain America: Brave New World. Hopefully we could just get a real leader,
one that's not just let's make him look as ugly and body horror like as possible.
And even that, I think they failed.
Like,
I think they're just
to me, it's going
to be too goofy
I have not,
if we go comic accurate.
I know what the leader looks like in the film. I have not actually seen the film, but like that really annoyed me. When I saw that that's what he looked like, I am like, why can't we just let him have the green big head from the comics? Like,
chickened the fuck out. They released, someone leaked, or I swear.
I'm so tired of things trying to make these grounded in adaptations of characters. Just let them look like how they do in the comics.
Yeah, you're already making a movie with a Red Hulk and a Celestial in it. You don't need to worry about it being realistic.
This feels to me like Marvel's version of what the Batman is trying to do with Joker. Okay, like it's like we don't need him to just look grotesque.
Oh yeah,
just let him look like the comics.
Yeah. It was like the most grounded version of Joker is Heath Ledger, and you know what? He still looked pretty damn good, pretty out there, and I liked it. But he doesn't need more scars just because that movie. You don't need to do that.
Heath Ledger is something where I like his performance in the film. I like how he looks in the film, but it annoys me that I think that film is what started this this run of we got to make a Joker more or realistic and grotesque and dark as possible in each adaptation. I think they did not take the right message from the from the Dark Knight. I think they thought people just like these dark and arc and realistic, and so we need to make him more and more each time, which is not why people liked Heath Ledger's Joker. I don't think.
Yeah, it feels like people did a very quick watch of the movie, and like it feels like the people in charge with the money don't really spend the time, shut off their phones, tell their assistants that they're gonna go into dark mode and not be disturbed, and watch the fucking movie and try to figure it out. It feels like they hear what people say online. They go, "Oh, he said he talked about his scars a lot, so he talked about the scars. We should write that down. He needs more scars." It's like, no, he also had several themes of philosophical matter, talking about amazing ideas about how him and Batman are destined to do this forever, and I love all that, and none of that is very grounded in reality. He's giving good reasons for the things he does in that movie, but it's very Joker.
But would you agree with me though that it kind of feels like that is the turning point that made them think that fans just want him to be more serious and more or grotesque as possible, since everything since then is like Jared Leto's Joker, and then we have Joaquin Phoenix, and then the Barry Keoghan one. It's like, why? Just let me have a goofy Joker again.
Yeah. Like when people were saying that Heath Ledger was the best thing to happen to Joker ever, and I was still sitting there going like, look, my favorite Joker has always been, and still to this day, is Jack Nicholson, and it's because he's goofy. He makes me laugh. He's very terrifying and sinister, but he's also really cartoonish and fun.
I truly think the best way to make Joker is make him absolutely hilarious, and make it so that the kills he has are absolutely hilarious, so that what makes him terrifying is that he makes you, the audience, wonder about yourself. Am I messed up for finding this funny?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think
Like
that's the perfect way to do Joker.
Very well done. Very well said, because that's to me what was enjoyable about the kills that Nicholson did as Joker in the Tim Burton version. He throws a quill into a guy's neck to kill him, and he says, "The pen is truly mightier than the sword." Like, it's a great moment. He shakes another mob boss's hand and electrocutes him to death until he's a crisp skeleton, and then he just goes. And like, that's like a beautiful moment. There's these great moments that are very well acted, but we've had great comedic versions of the Joker, usually the cartoons. Like, I think that the Harley Quinn cartoon had a great Joker. The one that obviously, why am I blanking on his name? Luke Skywalker was,
Mark Hamill.
Thank you. The different versions we've had are all over the damn place, and it's funny because you're absolutely right. The Nolan verse Batman, it started what they thought was going to work for all of the DC movies, so they just kept going with the serious, grounded stuff. And I'm very curious and very hopeful, even though I've heard some recent things that test audiences didn't love it. I'm curious what James Gunn's version of the DC universe is going to be like, because they do need to remember that the rest of the Justice League are very far-fetched and out there ideas. The grounded Batman idea only works when you're working with the Battinson, like that version. That should be its own thing. Keep it its own thing.
Keep it its own thing. I don't like that people are like, we should make that be a part of the DCU. I'm like, no, let them the people who want that have their serious one on. But let me have my on my goofy adaptation. That feels actually like the comics.
Yeah, they're gonna forever
be one that has the fantastical elements that I love.
Yeah, because of the success of the MCU, and maybe it'll die off now that it has become a little bit more reserved, and they're trying to gain back the success. It's always going to be this monolith that they have to measure up to. The success of the MCU in the Infinity Saga, no comic book anything had ever done that before so well, that they're now going, we have to, they were forever thinking we have to do the same thing. I loved the idea that they were going to keep Battinson separate, that they were going to have, we're going to go a little bit lighter with things like, but the fact that Crypto is going to be in this new Superman movie, I'm very excited about the lightness of it, because it does feel a little bit more of a return, which I think if you're going to have a movie with Superman, have dark themes, but it doesn't have to be so dark, and it doesn't have to be grounded in reality. That's the difference. Dark themes don't, and grounded in reality don't need to be inseparable.
I really do just find it so tiresome, this idea of everything has grounded. I'm like, it's superheroes. I was talking to someone the other day on Twitter or about with Daredevil Born Again, and they were saying how if other superheroes appear in the show at any point, they should never have them suit up, because that doesn't fit this show's dark, realistic, grounded tone. I'm like, what? It's still a superhero show.
What do you mean never have them suit up? I don't understand why they wouldn't want them to suit up.
And they're like, they're fine. So like, we were talking about particular characters like She-Hulk or Miss Marvel, and they're like, you can have them appear in the show, but but only as their human selves. Never have them actually going out and fighting and stuff. I'm like, what do you mean? Why would you not want that?
Second you said that, all I want now is a rated R She-Hulk show up in like full costume, kicking ass, the way that we are about to see this show unleash the rated R stuff that we've already seen some fucking dark shit on Daredevil.
They're like they were trying to say, it's okay for him to go to other people's things in costume, but other people going to his show in costume just doesn't work. I'm like,
worked in the comics,
that doesn't make sense. Like, and also I don't think if they were to have other characters or show up in the show, I don't think they need to change those characters' tones to fit this show.
It's more funny if they stay true to themselves. Lead them the same way.
It makes me think of the beginning of the Arrowverse, when it was just like Flash and Arrow.
Yeah.
When those would cross over, they would still keep the tone of those shows, but those characters themselves would stay the tone that they were in their own show. Why would you need to and it always worked. Why would you need to remove aspects of a character to make them and come over to someone else's show?
Yeah, I mean, same way. Like, okay, you've got Ant-Man, for example. He's in a couple team up movies after his own movies. He's in a little bit of Civil War, a little bit of Endgame. The part that he plays in those movies, though, is the comedic relief. It makes perfect sense. He doesn't have to change a bit. So you mentioned Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel in Daredevil, now I'm imagining it. The same way that Miss Marvel brought a small level hero to the big galactic universe of the Marvels. And the Marvels is a very humorous movie, so it made perfect sense. But having her come into Daredevil, if I was to see her in Daredevil, I would expect her to have to deal with some dark shit. But for the most part, she'd be a fish out of water, and she should stay that way. She's only known so much, so why change her?
And the reason I bring up like Flash and Arrow is because Arrow and Daredevil have very similar tones, but whenever they would have episodes where Flash showed up on Arrow, he still feel Greg Gustin still feels just the same as he would on his own show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even before his own show came out, because he actually started with a 2-episode appearance on Arrow. He felt the same, and that's
Did he really?
He started with a 2-episode arc on Arrow, and it was before he had even gotten powers. But then, it's like I'm like, I just don't understand that idea. Like, why? It's I don't know. I just this. I just really am getting tired of this idea of everything needs to be as grounded as possible.
Well, it's like they have to pick a genre or something, and it's like, no, it's more fun to have a diverse roster of tones and genres and styles, and have that be your okay, now you've written yourself into a corner, figure it out. Don't just make the movies feel the same and go, oh, this one's not funny enough, or this one's not goofy enough, like this one's not dark enough. You need to just make it the fun of seeing them join up and join forces is that they're not all the same. What makes a good ensemble, and a person who can write that,
I think as well, a lot of these fans have trouble understanding the fact that Daredevil himself isn't always serious. Exactly. Even in the Netflix show, there are some very goofy scenes with Matt Murdock.
There's some amazing lines. Even in this Born Again, talking about him trying to a petite, it's like petty larceny, and like it's from the French word petit. he's like being a charming dude.
When he's in the courtroom and he's making fun of the cop that he beat up.
Spoilers.
I think that's I were
even in an intense
it feels like it feels like some of the fans of Daredevil do not understand at all what it's almost like they watch a different show than we did.
Yeah, and they're wanting one thing, and they're only willing to accept it if it fits that mold.
Which I also think is like there's this big problem where people hold the older thing up on this pedestal where they cannot anything that's new cannot not come close in their mind. So it forces them to find stuff to dislike in the new one just to be able to say it's not as good as the old thing.
I think that is likely what is happening currently with the bit of news I've seen about the James Gunn Superman needing reshoots and stuff like that. Oh, it didn't test well with test audiences. Like, well, who are these test audiences? Are these test audiences just wanting Henry Cavill back, or who did you get to tell us how this movie should be? I trust James Gunn. I don't want reshoots. I want them to leave the fucking thing the way he imagined it. But now so much pressure is on him as the leader of the DC world, and he needs to come out with a successful starting point. And it's like, dude, like do not mix Pattinson in with these happier, colorful alien characters. The Pattinson movie and the Penguin series are both incredible, and they need to just keep expanding that over here. And yeah, give us something new over here with a weird bowl cut Guy Gardner and a happy dog that saves Superman when he's really beat up. Like I'm excited for Lobo. I don't want to see any more trailers, but Lobo can't exist in a grounded in reality kind of scenario like the Batman. So it's just they need to just perfect what they're doing, not think of the overall.
But I think that's the problem with a lot of there's a lot of people who keep finding reasons to not like the Daredevil Born Again episodes. And I think it's very much they put the original show on way too high a pedestal, so they will not allow themselves to enjoy the new show.
Yeah, that's and what me and Emmy have been doing with having just finished. We just recorded an episode reviewing episodes 1 through 4 of Born Again, and we finally got caught up because we were so behind on watching season 3 of the original Netflix show. And we're enjoying what is similar about them, but we're also enjoying what is different, and it feels a very elevated version of the things that people liked of the original, but leaving behind some of the stuff that maybe people didn't like or wasn't the best thing about them. But like they're giving the show a chance to be reinvented in a true to form way that's like it's finding the right stuff to carry on, and it's really cool to see. And I said to her, like, we were talking about like the reshoots and bringing in Foggy and Karen and stuff, and I said, can you imagine an episode 1 of this Born Again series that didn't have Foggy and Karen in it, even though they're only in it for 3 seconds? Like, I know they're not in much, but what a fucking launching off point after what we just binged. It's awesome. And I was very glad that they did that, because if the original script didn't call for that, it's like, well, then what are we like, where is the instant emotional attachment to what we knew about this Charlie Cox Daredevil? So it's just strange that that it was even considered another way.
Yeah.
Bizarre.
I don't think there's really anything else to talk about for this episode of the 70s Hulk. So I'm gonna wind this down. Is there any final thing you'd like to say?
I am stoked for more of the serial kind, but I'm excited to see what the hell hijinks he gets into next. I want to see Jack McGee again, like, so fast. But I'm also very excited that you said that the Disciple episode coming up brings back another character. Because when a character gets brought back, it's like, okay, this show isn't just on Bill Bixby's shoulders. and Lou, of course. His shoulders much more so, but mostly Bill. Because that Lou time is like, it's dwindling. It's maybe like 5 minutes like max. It's expensive green paint, man.
Which you kind of feel bad though for Lou Ferrigno with that, because I imagine if he had his way, he would not be asking for the less screen time. He'd probably be asking for more screen time. He'd be like, I have to sit in this makeup chair for hours. Or you better at least give me some screen time.
Yeah. And it's like, and not only that, but I work out every day, 5 hours a day to look this good. I am the Hulk. Make me the Hulk more often, please. And they're just like, look, Lou, can you give us a call back when you've had your avocado on toast and you're a little more calmed down. You're coming off really angry right now. And he's like, that's very funny. But if you could just give me more screen time, that'd be great.
It really should be
It's
like
great,
a
by the way.
50-50 sort of thing.
Lou Ferrigno, I saw a picture of him recently, like
Mhm.
2025 Lou Ferrigno. How old is he now? He looks incredible.
Oh yeah, he looks great.
Good for him. Oh my God, there's a photo of him and the actor met up with Lou Ferrigno once again, Big Lou. It's the guy who played Jack McGee. Pretty sure.
That's definitely not something that happened anytime recently, since the actor who played Jack McGee is dead.
Oh, never mind. This guy just looks a lot like him. Never mind, it's somebody else. Maybe his
Um,
trainer or something.
sadly, Lou Ferrigno is, I'm pretty sure, the only surviving actor from this show.
Oh my God, so sad.
Yeah, but yeah,
Well, there you go. He looks amazing though. Good for Lou. I want nothing
yeah,
but good things for Lou.
and it's really cool that that Lou is still acting, and like um
74? Motherfucker looks like he's 55.
like he was in
Holy shit.
he was in 2022 he was in a Paramount Plus show called The Offer, and it's a show about out the making of the Godfather or movies.
Wow. Oh damn.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of cool.
So
Actually.
he's still acting, and not only that, but he's still getting big roles, which is really cool. Oh,
Wait, who did he play in that?
he played so this is something that's I mean, it's about like studio execs for what for when they were making it. But he played someone named Lenny Montana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lenny Montana.
I'm excited or whenever this ends up actually coming out. He is gonna be doing he already filmed it, but a while ago, but it hasn't come out yet. A film called The Hermit, which is gonna be his a return to creature features for him, where
Nice.
so that's I think that'll be really cool to see. Yeah.
Man, you just gave me a new show to obsess over called The Offer. And as soon as you said it was about the Godfather, making the Godfather movies, I immediately was like, he has to be playing the guy who played Luca Brasi from the first Godfather movie. And then I looked it up. You said Lenny Montana. That is the actor who played Luca Brasi, the big motherfucker who basically is sent as an enforcer to go and take out some guys. And yeah, he's taken down pretty horrifically.
Was this an older actor back then?
Yeah, he was old at the time. Yeah. He
Cool.
passed away in 1992, but he would have been. I mean, at the time The Godfather came out, he would have been probably in his doing the math really quickly, his 60s. So Lou at 70 something is playing a guy 10 years younger because he looks 10 years younger.
Oh yeah, Lou looks great for his age.
This cast is insane. Giovanni Ribisi, Dan Fogler, Patrick Gallo, Matthew Good, Miles Teller. Like, holy shit! I am checking out The Offer.
Mm-hmm. I speaking of shows, I was watching recently. I recently got a subscription to Apple TV Plus. Man, there's so many great shows on there.
Is Shrinking and Severance two of the shows you've been checking out? Okay.
Yes.
Shrinking, I've heard Shrinking is good. I haven't watched
Shrinking
yet.
So I've been watching Shrinking, Severance, and Mythic Quest. As with Mythic Quest is a comedy show from Rob McElhenney from It's Always Sunny.
Season one of that.
I also even though I've watched this before or through other methods, it's Ted Lasso. I've been watching with my mom. So that was really fun, and I just a few days ago started this show called, I think, Saving Tomorrow might be its name. But it's about a retro futuristic world where this guy is selling is a door-to-door salesman who sells people on living on the moon.
Billy Crudup.
Yeah.
It says it says, I thought it was Saving My Tomorrow, but then it says Hello Tomorrow.
Yeah, Hello Tomorrow. That's
Hello
it.
Tomorrow. Sick. I would also recommend, if you don't have enough shows already with that list that you just gave.
Most of
the
those I've
morning show.
finished watching. I'm right now like the only one that I'm watching right now is Hello Tomorrow. But yeah, I'm really enjoying all the shows on there. Like, it really
I would
puts
highly
some of the other
recommend the morning show as well.
nice. Yeah, I mean, that's one I've heard of, or if I want to check out. Yeah, it really puts some of the other streaming services to shame. I think, like they're like Apple TV.
Yeah, I mean
They're,
they've got the money, they starting to get more acclaim year after year, and it's like you're getting stars like Harrison Ford, you're getting like creators like Ben Stiller, like this is like Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, like these are some
it
big fucking
makes
names.
me even more annoyed about how little Disney Plus puts out, because Apple TV puts out 6 episodes of stuff a week, and all of these shows look like they're high quality shows. And not only that, but they're also, unlike like Disney Plus, where Disney Plus only advertises their Marvel and their Star Wars shows. Every episode that's of a show that's being released in a week on Apple TV Plus gets it's shown on their front page, so they're actually advertising these things. Like there are some smaller shows that Disney Plus releases, but they don't advertise them, so we don't know about them. And
Yeah, yeah.
that's just, it really annoys me how little content and Disney Plus puts out.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It takes too long, and it's and they've got their finger in too many pies. Like there's such a huge monopoly at this point that it's like, okay, they have to break it up into, like, you see when you as soon as you open it, it's okay, it's Star Wars, National Geographic, Marvel, and it doesn't feel like enough is coming out of any of those because their budgets are too big, I think, and they're dragging their feet.
I don't think it's a budget thing. I really think they
Advertising
just
thing.
don't think they have to make more.
Mm.
Partially just because they're Disney and they're like, we're too big to fail, and
Yeah,
partially
they're
because
getting
you
lazy.
have like Marvel fans who are and trying to say, oh, we shouldn't have more Marvel content,
Yeah.
and so they apply that logic of no more Marvel not a lot more Marvel content to all of their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they don't understand that if people are going to keep buying your streaming service, you need to keep giving them a lot of new content to watch.
Yeah. It's fair. And
Which
advertise it as such
which
instead
the
of
reason I
banking
say
on
that
endless.
I really do not think that the budgets of these things is the problem, is because it well, yes, as recently they've been losing subscribers, compare that to when they had a massive amount of Marvel coming out in 2021 for their first year of Marvel. They were
Yeah.
constantly gaining a lot of subscribers, so those high budgets were worth it
Mm-hmm.
having that. But as they've cut down on content, I think that's causing a lot of people to not unsubscribe to the service because they're not getting as much new content, so and you have to, and I do not I'm definitely not someone who would ever think that we should care about how much things cost.
Yeah.
Like, it's a corporation, they have the money for it, and
Mm-hmm.
to make money you gotta spend money.
And to me, the killer of most situations like this is investors who come in and they demand, a board of directors demands that the thing always make more money every year. It's got to make more. It's like, what about just long-term sustainability? What about just being
I
creative
think
and keeping something longer than something just
there's
huge and
there's
booming fast?
also something that I think a lot of people do not understand, is which is every streaming service is not profitable for its first or like 10 years or something. It's
Especially
not.
if they have a long game, like they're thinking
You have
plan.
to.
It takes time. Yeah.
Like they think like people will look on when Disney's had announcements of like how much they've lost from Disney Plus, and they're like, oh, it's Disney Plus is doing something really wrong with because of that. I'm like, no, Disney Plus is a pretty new streaming service still, so you should just expect they're not going to be a directly from Disney Plus get making massive amounts of profits already. Uh, but also at the same time, no matter how high or low the viewership is on these shows, no matter how many subscriptions they're getting, they're making money from the toys.
Yeah.
They're making a lot of profit from the toys.
100%. Yeah.
Everything Disney makes is profitable.
Yeah, sure. And it's so clear when a show is banking highly on toy sales when it doesn't have like super innovative storytelling, and it's like, oh, you just want to
I think I don't think that they're particularly trying to make things only for toys and else, but I think that when people say that these shows aren't making enough for it to be sustainable for Disney, I'm like, one, they are making a lot from those toy sales, and two, it's Disney. Yeah. They are a massive corporation. They have the money.
Yeah. Yeah, it needs to stop going to one person and spread the wealth and make everyone happy. And you'll have the longest term customers ever if you just do that.
It's like, yeah. We've rambled on a lot enough about this, so I'm this off. Thank you for joining me for this, Keith.
Blast as always. You've given me like 6 new shows to watch, by the way. Thank you.
Everyone, please check out Keith on the Avengers podcast. And thank you everyone for listening for this. And if you like the scam analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and a 5-star rating or 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episodes. Please let me know. If you like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more gamma analysis on me coming, so keep on the lookout. This game is your host, Smash Ray John, signing off.